welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2020 video. Leslie, tired of everything we've been watching, even though most of what we've been watching has been on Amazon Prime.
That's true.
Decided to go back to Amazon Prime.
Listen, I pay for it. I may as well use it.
To watch the film Countdown from 2019. Again, one of those new release type things, so it must have just come up on Amazon Prime as a brand new movie, which makes sense. Tis the Halloween season, might as well release a horror movie. It's not an Amazon Prime original like the other ones we've been watching, but yeah. The film is essentially, you know how the saying, there's an app for that, right? It's essentially a play on that in the sense that, hey, you want to know when you're going to die? There's an app for that. And it's the Countdown app, which you download it, you open it up, and boom, it tells you how long you got to live, right? Except it is how long you have to live. It knows. Bum, bum, bum. And when, young nurse decides, hey, all my friends are downloading this and they have, decades to live. This is funny. I'm going to try out this app.
Yeah,
and finds out
it's a novelty.
Yeah, it's a novelty thing. I get it. But she finds out she has 3 days. And like anybody, you think, wow, that kind of sucks. Well, I guess we're going to find out if this app is real or not. Except then she starts running into people who also downloaded the app and died. So it starts this whole journey type thing, similar like any ghost story or something. You got to find out the reason, right? Why is the ghost haunting? Why are people dying? Is this the app killing people? And so, yeah.
Yeah, are you holding your phone and it explodes or something in your face and that's how you die?
Is it that good? Like it's built in, right? So that's essentially what the movie is about. It's written and directed by the same person, Justin Deck. Now, Justin Deck had previously done a Countdown short, so I'm guessing what probably happened was he made that short. People watched it and were like, okay, there's something behind this. And of course, since he wrote and directed it, he kind of...
Yeah, something's popping in my head right now. Something that was good as a short and not good as a movie.
Yes. So essentially, it's one of those things where they decided, hey, we want to option that. And he probably said, well, if you're going to option it, I want to be writing and directing it. And of course now James is coming down, and the whole point of shooting this was so he wasn't here. So the film, like I said, is about a nurse named Quinn Harris, played by Elizabeth Lale, who you may know from such television shows as Once Upon a Time, where she played Princess Anna. I'm not even going to get into Once Upon a Time. She was also in Dead of Summer as Amy Hughes, and a series from Netflix that we watched called You, where she was Guinevere Beck. Also in the film is Talitha Ilana Bateman as Jordan Harris, who in terms of genre work was in such films as The Hive, The Fifth Wave, Vengeance, A Love Story, Annabelle Creation, Geostorm, and I think the last film before this was Robert the Bruce. So, kind of a historical action drama. Also in the film is Jordan Calloway as Matt Monroe. Not a lot of genre work. Was in a few television series and movies. But something you might recognize him for, the television series Beyond, where he played Kevin McCardle, or the TV series Freakish, where he played Zane, but we recognized him from Riverdale, where he played Chuck Clayton. We didn't really know where until we looked him up, and it was like, oh, yeah. And it's not like he's a main character in Riverdale. He's kind of like one of those background characters. He does talk, and he's in, lots of episodes, but it's not like he's Archie or anything like that.
Then we should have known.
Yeah,
right
then we
away.
definitely would have known, right? And finally, there's other people in the film, but another one that's worth noting is Peter Facinelli, who plays Dr. Sullivan, which was one of the original people who she saw with the, I think he had 60-something years to live or something like that, and he was already well, he's a doctor, so he's already been there for a while, right? And of course, he's been in a lot of movies and television series. He was in the television series Fastlane, where he played Donovan Van Ray. He was in The Scorpion King, 6 Feet Under, which you liked. He was Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Hallowe'en 2, the direct-to-video sequel. If you were into the Twilight series of movies, he was in all of them as Dr. Carlisle Cullen. He was in the horror film Gallows Hill, Freezer. He had a recurring role in Supergirl and the new SWAT television series. But I first remembered him from the movie Supernova, which was actually quite earlier on in his career. But I think his most popular outing, not really genre work, or at least I wouldn't consider it. Yeah, is Nurse Jackie, where he played, of all things, Dr. Fitch Cooper. He seems to be typecast almost as a doctor, because there were other doctor stuff that he'd done as well. Yeah, so... do you have any thoughts?
Why do you always say that like I'm going to say something bad?
Because she normally says something bad. Which... I'm beginning to think maybe she liked it.
It has a really good premise, like, oh my god, how many apps do you got on your phone, right? And so if there was a thing, like, 'cause I thought to myself, would I get it? You know what I mean? Because it's always the thing, do you want to know?
You're more superstitious than I am, right? See?
So I probably wouldn't, because I would be even if it said, like, 25 years or whatever, I'd still be looking at it, like, every other day or something, be like, oh, does it still say the same thing? Oh god, it's running out, I'm running out of time, and I'd freak out. God forbid it said, like, one day, I'd be like, I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything, get bubble wrap, like, oh god.
Which
no.
would suffocate her and kill her in a day.
Oh, it would be right. But I like the premise, because it's neat.
It does make sense, because I remember, before there were cell phones with apps, there used to be websites where you could go to, and it was,
And I did not do that.
it would just be a countdown. Pretty much, it was random, so if you hit reload, it would give you a different time. But, yeah, that was early internet. But, yeah. I do. I think it's funny. The premise is not new. It's not original. And even what they're going about saying, like, the film has a Final Destination vibe, if I was going to say anything. Like, Final Destination, you didn't know when you were going to die, but you knew you were going to die, right?
I see a pumpkin.
And this was similar to that. I think the one thing that I found a little weird that sort of diverted from the Final Destination film. Well, no, I guess it really does borrow from Final Destination, because even with Final Destination, there was always and that's how why it was such a good series, was all of the, oh, your time might be now, right? Your time might be now.
Daddy,
Yeah, buddy.
I see a pumpkin
You see pumpkins
up there.
up there, yeah.
I see one red pumpkin.
Yeah, pumpkin.
And it's the same kind of thing, like, you gotta try and cheat it.
You got to try and cheat it, which is kind of, the whole idea of the Final Destinations. You got to, obviously, spoilers here, people. If you haven't seen the Final Destination movies, there's different ways they get around it in every movie. Trying to cheat death, essentially. And this is a similar type idea where you're trying to cheat death. The difference here is you know exactly when that is. But what I was kind of going to start getting onto was the fact that it plays out like a ghost haunting movie, because whatever's trying to kill you, I will call it death.
I heard a ghost and zombie.
Ghosts and zombies, not in this movie. Well, ghosts maybe. Kind of.
No, that's zombie. Zombie.
Zombies.
And that- and
So
zombie.
what it would be like this thing, as you get closer and closer to the time you're supposed to die, like haunts you more. So, it could stalk you at night. It could, make crazy noises and, make you scared, right? Make you scared the closer you are towards that zero time, right? Which I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, obviously it makes for a more interesting movie, because if you didn't have that, it would just be a bunch of people being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die soon. What do you do, right? There's no real tension or suspense otherwise. And I think some of the scares worked better than others. This was a very, I'm not going to say super bubblegum mainstream type of horror film, but
Daddy?
it was
Daddy?
almost there. It was almost to the point where you go, okay, if you had gone more
Daddy?
family friendly horror.
I need daddy phone.
You need daddy phone, okay. Then I probably wouldn't have liked it. But because they still managed to keep it kind of, not totally geared towards a 13-year-old. I mean, it's not The Ring, it's not spooky, scary like that. But it's not. What was it Happy Death Day?
What about it?
I don't know. There was some movie we watched or something like that where it was supposed to be a haunting movie, and we're just like, there was nothing scary going on in this movie whatsoever. It was so bubblegum, and really you could have an 8-year-old watch it and they would be like, wow, was that supposed to be scary type, but it wasn't that at all.
Daddy.
So it was.
Daddy, I need to eat the red.
Okay, you eat it.
No.
Oh, is that
That's
what
what
you
we
meant?
want.
Oh, no, just suck on it, buddy. Is it too late? Okay. But yeah, it's one of those things where I enjoyed it enough without being. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's weird. It's
not great. It's
not
okay.
Yeah, it's not it's not one of those things where I was like, oh, you got to see this movie. This is a great horror film. But at the same time, I'm not going to say you need to steer clear from this. This is terrible horror film. It's so boring and so not scary.
Like if I actually paid money to see it at the theater, I wouldn't walk out and be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
I wasted
yeah,
money on
exactly.
But
That's
okay.
that's exactly how that's the right analogy I was looking for. It's one of those things where had we, paid to go see it, we wouldn't have come out going, "Oh my god, why did we waste our time and money on that
Because
one?"
there's many movies where I would say that.
Which is why we do it for the 31 Days of Horror, not for, hey, let's go to the movies.
Then I can think, why did you waste your money buying that?
Hey, just because I don't like it and because it's crap doesn't mean I won't watch it multiple times.
Yeah, not me.
But yeah, that being said, maybe it's because I thought this was going to be garbage going into it. Just the whole idea from the trailers, it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, it's going to be another one of those. I get it. It's going for that teen crowd.
Because I wanted to watch it more than you did.
Yes, you did. Well, I technically wanted to buy it before I watched it, and she was like, "I'm not waiting. I want something better than these shot on video garbage things you keep giving me." So we went back to Amazon Prime. But that being said, would you give it a rating?
I know, so he's saying it's okay, but then it does these things that all these movies nowadays sound like an old person. So I don't like how things just whoo, like you're here and then you're on the scene.
Oh yeah,
like I hate that.
That whole, the idea of somebody coming up to the camera in the dark and their face is all lit up and then they get pulled away. She hates that stuff.
I hate it.
So this has some of those type of scenes, not that specifically, but
but
whatever.
yeah, that kind of thing, and that brings it down for me because like if I'm walking by and I end up on the floor, like somebody better be standing there who did it to me. That's all. So that brings it down. I kind of thinking like between. I can't go that low though. I guess I would probably say 3 because I was thinking 2.5 or 3, but then you think of all the crappy crap. So I will say 3.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just say, which is odd. I didn't think I'd be this high before watching the film. I'm gonna say it's a 3. It's a solid 3. I'd actually have no problem really watching this movie again. But I mean, this Final Destination movies are the same way, right? Like, I've seen the Final Destination movies multiple times, and I don't have a problem watching them again, even though I know exactly everything that's going to happen, right? I think the concept behind the film is enough. This isn't as good as Final Destinations. It's any of the Final Destinations, but it's still enjoyable. It's still worthwhile watching. I mean, even if you only give it a once over, give it a one watch and you're done, I think it's a worthwhile one watch.
Like I wouldn't watch it again like next week, right? But you
Maybe
wait
in
a
like
while,
a year or two.
and then I would watch it again.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess we're both on the same boat, 3s. And we're both saying it's a recommended film. It's worth checking out. So, yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. I guess next movie's gonna be garbage. Yeah, back to garbage. Anyways, there's still a little bit more 31 Days of Horror to come.
Like cause for divorce.
Cause for divorce. Eh? She's gonna put that in the papers. He made me watch bad movies.
Emotional abuse.
And I'll be like, she didn't have to watch. She chose to sit there.
I need kettle.
Okay. Anyways, thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one. But yeah, Justin Deck hasn't really done anything else. He's written and directed a whole bunch of shorts, and one, I think, direct-to-video or made-for-TV film in his early career. So, quite surprising to see that he got this.
it.
You got that? Oh no, he's too big. So,
What's that? I'm crying. What? This
sit up there, buddy.
week. One. And it's two toys. One. Eat. So many toys.
Mm-hmm.
What? Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tiny pumpkin. That's a tiny pumpkin too.
Yeah.
This is money. This let me see. What's inside? Oh, look at that.
Want some noodles, buddy?
The voice purple.
Here.
The,
Look, you wanna come see? Come see?
look at that kite.
I know.
That's awesome.
Mommy's gonna let you use the phone. Hello and welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2020 video. Yes, Leslie, again sick and tired of watching bad movies, wanted to go back to Amazon Prime. And unlike previous films that we've been watching, this is not an Amazon Prime original. No, it's an actual movie that went to theaters.
Oh.
Countdown from 2019. Yes. Film is essentially kind of like, you know, that saying, there's an app for that. Well, you want to know when you're going to die? There's an app for that. There's the Countdown app. And so the film is essentially about this app, and people are, you know, downloading and all this kind of stuff. But it really tells you when you're going to die. It's real. So in the film, there's this nurse, young nurse, who is there, and her other colleagues are downloading this app, and it's saying, you know, you have decades to live, 60 years to live until you die, and everybody's having a good old laugh, right? Well, she downloads the app, and she's got like 3 days. Kind of sucks, right? Well, you generally don't think of it. You go, when the 3 days are out, you know, well, no, this app is just a joke, which you would just think anyways, right? But she then starts finding out other people who have downloaded the app and also had short times actually died. So, yeah, she starts freaking out, and like any, I guess you'd call it like a ghost story, you know, where the ghost comes out, you have to discover and find out, why is the ghost haunting that place? Why is the thing? She's kind of like trying to figure out, what is this app? Where did it come from? Why is it doing this kind of stuff, right? So it follows a very similar line as your traditional ghost film, like ghost haunting film. The film is directed by a gentleman named Justin Deck.
That's awesome.
And Justin Deck is the writer and director of the film. So, yeah. He also did a short film prior to this called Countdown. Which makes me think, considering when I looked him up, he didn't have a lot under his belt other than a bunch of other shorts, that perhaps he wrote and directed this film, the short film Countdown, and somebody saw it, or maybe played the festivals or something like that, and it got somebody's attention, and they were like, we want to option that, right? Like, we want to make a feature film of this. Which is fine. You know, normally if you're the writer, you sell it off. Yeah, sure, I wrote this, here's somebody, you know, if you get to write the feature film, all the better, but not always the case. But you get your payday, right? Well, I have a feeling maybe perhaps in his selling of this concept short film idea, maybe he was like, well, you can have it, but I also have to be the writer and director. Because he doesn't have a lot under his belt at all. So, I don't know. Maybe they got him cheap as a result. Maybe? I don't know. But, yeah.